This episode of the Dicebreaker podcast is sponsored by eBay. Level up your trading card game selling with eBay's new image scanning tool. Sellers can now scan their trading cards and create a listing in half the time. The new selling tool supports Magic the Gathering, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and coming soon, sports trading cards and other collectible card games. It's an easy 3-step process. Simply open your eBay app, go to Selling, and search for your card category. Use the new image tool to snap a photo and enter in other details like condition and price. Hit list your item and you're done. It's a snap. Get the eBay app now on iOS or Android, list your Magic the Gathering, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and start making money on your collections. To learn more, visit ebay.com/scan to list. Link in the description below. This
I did it again.
Oh no! What happened? No sounds!
No, it's fine.
No
It's there now.
Can they hear us now?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Look, I'm going to repeat the same jokes that I made a second ago, but just imagine they were like 50% funnier because the
Loli,
second time
sometimes I
around...
wonder you do this just to like be like, right, I'm gonna get that Matt Jarvis. He's gonna
Just a double
it's
take.
just to give him a chance to redeem himself the second time around.
I got to quickly workshop a funnier joke in the like few seconds before I come off mute. Look, I can understand.
Thursday's the new Friday. There
Thursday
you go.
is the new Friday. That's what they say. It's a different fur, but it's just as fun as Friday.
God.
There you go. Hello.
It's
welcome.
first day.
First day.
Fur day.
Fur day.
That's great.
It's Dice. I tell you what it is. It's Dicebreaker Podcast Day.
Yeah.
And no matter what the day of the week, it's always the best day of the week. Hello, I'm Matt Jarvis. I'm your host. I'm back again, joined by once more two of the team. Alex Lolies, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm so tired and I'm so sorry.
You're tired already. It's EGX tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you guys know about it. I only slept like 3.5 hours in the excitement of EGX. That's definitely the reason that I couldn't sleep. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, we'll. Sorry, man.
You need to drink some Ovaltine. delicious drink. Hot
Is
drink.
Ovaltine like gravy?
What does it
No, you're thinking of Bovril.
do? What does Ovaltine do?
It's just a nice hot OT drink that you have, and it gets you ready for the sleeps. I'm not sponsored by Ovaltine. I'm just telling you that. It's
Alex
like
being the
Horlicks.
person sponsored by Ovaltine.
Yeah, it's like Horlicks.
Okay, right. I'll say up front before we say hello to you, that this will be a shorter episode than usual because the reason it's taking place a day early is because much of the team is at EGX from tomorrow, Friday. EGX is actually opened today, and next week we will be out in Germany for Essen Spiel.
Yeah,
so it is a
Germany,
busy couple
watch out.
of weeks.
We're
So
coming.
that's why the podcast is both early and shorter than usual, or at least we'll try and keep it shorter than usual. But of course, joining us once again, Alex Meehan. How are you?
I'm back. You couldn't get rid of me. They tried last week. They tried. But I broke free from their elaborate trap, and now I'm back.
That was such a menacing laugh just now. It was a very
you've-
it was like a cute cackle.
Yeah, I do consider myself to be a form of witch. But a cute cackle is probably one of the best compliments I've ever had.
Well, congratulations on escaping the Squid Game we set for you last week.
Yeah, it was rough.
And therefore earning your place on the podcast.
Oh wait,
That's what you win in this
Did
Squid
it?
Game.
Yeah, the piggy bank just fills with more and more podcasts as you go along. It's like, oh, we've earned the news section. Oh, here comes what we've been playing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I'd rather not do it again if it's possible.
Did
Right.
you want to know the bingo call, by the way?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
What episode are we on? 78?
78, Heaven's Gate.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that rhymes.
Kind of
I
boring.
will
Yeah.
begrudgingly accept this. Heaven's Gate, not a great film. Notoriously
right,
bad,
okay.
in fact. The film
Wait.
Heaven's Gate.
Hold on.
There's a
Is
film
that
called
the
Heaven's Gate.
one? Is that the one about like Crusaders and stuff? Am I getting confused?
No.
No.
I don't believe it. It's the. Is it?
It's the rom-com. No.
No, it's from the
No, I
director of
know-
the Deer Hunter, whose name I now forget, who I don't think is a particularly nice person.
I
am I
know
thinking?
I know what film
Heaven's Door?
Lolies is talking about, and it's really bad. A little taste of heaven. Is that it? A little touch of heaven?
No.
That's the one where the woman is like, "Oh no, you've got like a terrible disease, but isn't the life so quirky?" That's
I'm
the bad
thinking
one.
about, is it 4 Weddings and a Funeral? That's what I'm thinking about. Because I think Knocking on Heaven's Door features in that.
Wow.
If I remember correctly.
Okay.
I only remember that because I think I saw that when I was way too young. And you know when when you watch something and you're way too young for it, it really sticks in your mind. Like the weirdest details stick in your mind. I don't think I've seen it since whatever age I was when I first saw it. I must have been like 7. So yeah, that's a detail that's stuck in my mind.
Yeah. For me,
Aaron Winmai says, I was thinking of Kingdom of Heaven, which is what I was thinking of. That's the one with all Blando.
Or Blando Loom.
Blando Loom, yeah.
Yeah. Lolies, the film for me that does that is Jason X, which I don't know if I've mentioned before on this podcast, but I remember staying up late one night when I was probably about 9 or 10 and watching that and being very upset by there's a part where Jason freezes someone's head in liquid nitrogen and then smashes it like a light bulb.
Yeah, that's the one where he's in space, right?
Yeah, it's not how heads or craniums work at all, or liquid nitrogen for that fact, but it's really stuck with me. It scared the pants off me as a child.
Liquid nitrogen, wouldn't that?
Yeah, but
probably would do that. Yeah,
you'd need to freeze it for a long, long time. I think he just kind of dunks them in like they're being baptized, and then whoop, and then out, and then smash.
I don't know. It happens pretty quickly. I feel like maybe not like maybe a head. You know, I've only ever seen it done with a banana, which is like sizably smaller than a head. But like, I feel like it probably wouldn't be too much longer than a banana.
I mean, you could absolutely be right. I mean, if we've got any scientists in the chat or liquid nitrogen experts, or in fact, Jason himself,
Jason,
please write in and let us know.
If you're in the chat, let us know.
Wait, didn't you not say his head got smashed?
No, he smashes someone else's head.
Oh, okay.
You can't kill Jason. He'll come back for another 7 sequels.
Yeah, even when you send Jason to hell with Freddy Krueger, he still gets out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those films are bad.
Very
I don't think they've ever
this.
been good. Friday the 13th films have never been good.
Whoa!
Friday the 13th. The only good one is Friday the 13th 2, Part 2, or whatever it's called.
Hot take from Matt Jarvis there.
Yeah. Look, it's not Nightmare on Elm Street.
Do you know what's a good horror film?
No.
Okay, thank you. Alien. And do you know what's a good board game based on the movie Alien?
Tell us, Lolies.
Alien Fate of the Nostromo. And if you'd like to play it, there's a how to play video on the channel now.
Lolies, you played a lot of this alien game. Tell us what you think.
I played it 5 times in one day and then not since. But I have wanted to play it since. It's really good. It really captures the like panic-inducing running around a spaceship trying not to get caught by the alien that you get kind of from Alien Isolation, the video game, but also from watching the 1979 version of the I say version, it's the only version, right? Of the movie.
Yeah, one of the greatest films ever made.
Mm-hmm. I think it's really good. Like when I first got the box, it's a Ravensburger game, and I was like, I love Ravensburger. I'll just say that to begin with, but I feel like Ravensburger, in my mind, do like fairly simplistic kind of, you know, family style games. And I thought, oh, how good is this, you know, how good is this game about a horror film really going to be? But it's really good. It really stands up to the potential hype that there wasn't about the game.
I think people I saw some excitement around it because I think there was also the Aliens Another Glorious Day in the core. Really rolls off the tongue. So we're kind of seeing like quite a few Aliens Aliens games at the moment. And I think this one generally seems to be the one that people have said kind of stands out as better than you would expect it to be, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not a huge co-op fan, but I enjoyed, this is a co-op game and I enjoyed it. As I say, I played it a few times. And I would play it again. I really want to play it. I've only played it 2-player. I really want to play it with more players. Because I do think it's the kind of game that will feel different depending on the number of players, because it's quite a small ship. So the more players you have, the more likely you are to bump into the alien, I guess, especially if you split up. Which, obviously, when you have a group morale track, that can be quite precarious.
It's a bit like that scene in Alien where they've all split up and they're going through the vents and stuff.
Yeah, and Jonesy features heavily.
Whoa!
I don't have the box here, but he does, and it's great.
I love Jones. Yeah.
I did too.
So he spends a lot of that film just in a crate, just looking really like, this isn't great. I'm being thrown around in a crate.
You can get a crate, you can equip a crate to catch Jonesy in this game as well. Because he comes and hisses at you, so...
Oh,
yeah.
He's scared.
Yeah.
Well, it generally doesn't work out well for, I think it's Brett in the film. It's like it's just the cat, and then it's like,
Oh, that's the guy.
Times.
That's the guy who
Harry
goes down. Yeah.
I know all their names now because of the game, because you play the characters. So...
Even though I've watched that film many times, and I love it a lot, I genuinely can't remember most of their names because their names aren't really hugely important.
Yeah. Everyone knows Ripley, and then after that, I wouldn't have known any of the others. And to be honest, I always get confused between the director and the main character.
Ripley and Ridley,
yeah.
I think it's kind of a little bit the point that we don't really know a lot of their names because, capitalism, they're just pawns in the corporate games, so to speak. But it sounds good. I really want to play it because love Alien, love the idea of, because like Aliens, Another Beautiful Day in the Core is like more of an Aliens game, isn't it? Like it's you go around shooting.
I think it's full on, like dungeon crawler. It is very much off that. I think in some ways they kind of are those two films in miniature, right? It's like Alien, Fate of the Nostromo is kind of, you creep around, you try to survive, you have to use your wits and stuff you can scrape together. Whereas I think Another Glorious Day in the Core is just full on bug hunt.
Yeah, you get to be like, yeehaw!
You get some cool miniatures in Nostromo as well. You get like a really cool xenomorph miniature and all the characters. I like as well, the characters have different poses in this. I think is a Brett maybe, or a different one of the other ones maybe, is like kneeling down, which like is great. Because you never really, a lot of times in games which come with like these kind of miniatures, they're all just like standing up, ready to go. Whereas, he's on the phone like hunkered down, and it's just a nice little detail to see like them actually being different to each other.
And that makes sense because I'm pretty sure they have like a communication device they use because they're in the lower kind of decks of the ship, and they do that in the film. So, this sounds neat. I want to play this. Is Bishop in it or not?
Bishop's Aliens, right?
No,
Ash.
Not Bishop. Ash. I get Ash and Bishop mixed up.
Yes,
Ash is the bad one. Bishop is the good one.
Ash is in the game in one of two ways. Either there's a final mission which brings Ash into the game and makes it a little bit harder, or you can play it as an alternative, like if you want to make the game a bit harder, you can bring Ash in. So there's these Ash cards that will play whether you play with Ash or not. But there's an Ash little like standee that you can either use or not use depending on how difficult you want to play it. And he'll go essentially, depending on if he comes through a final mission or because you want to make the game harder, there's like slightly different rule sets. But essentially he makes your life harder, and I really like the addition of Ash actually. Yeah. Ashley. Cool. No.
I could see like an expansion for that game where they turn Ash into like you can play him and play as like a traitor element or something.
Yeah, like a betrayal kind of traitor reveal would be fitting.
Well, the problem here is that Ash
you obviously but one of you could replace your miniature or something like that. Like
I think
with backseat game designing.
You just know from the off like Ash is working against you, but like it could be just adding a competitive element into the game. But it sounds really good, and I want to give it a go. So, is it your copy, Lolies, or is it?
No, it's the office copy. It arrived, I think, at the office the same day that I happened to be there, and actually arrived from Matt. And
Yeah.
Matt said to open it, so we did, and I was like, ooh, because I'm currently like still playing Alien Isolation, so I was like, ooh, I want to see what the board game's like. So then I brought it home, and now I did a how to play video, which everyone should definitely go watch and go play the game.
Well, when that box eventually makes its way back to the office, then maybe I can give that a go. But it sounds great. Did you?
I could bring it to EGX and get one of the others to maybe bring it back with them.
That would be wonderful if that could. Yeah, when you go to EGX, Lolies, tomorrow.
EGX. Yes.
Oh.
While we're on the topic, what can folks expect from the video team at EGX, and then me and I will be going out to Essen with Live and Lolies the week after.
Yeah, I mean our schedule is pretty simple. 3 p.m. BST every day. We're on. Is it the main stage?
EGX live stage, I think.
EGX live stage. There you go.
I don't know if that's the main stage or not. I think it might be, but
It should be.
It's on the EGX live stage every day. 3 p.m. BST, and if you're not at the show physically yourself, we will be streaming them as well. So if you just keep an eye on, I think they've already been scheduled, so you can set yourself reminders right now already, because we will be streaming every day, and we've got planned for tomorrow. I'm actually equally excited about all 3 streams, I have to say. Tomorrow we're doing a thing that we just came up with where essentially the audience will suggest a D&D monster. And then one of us has to describe the D&D monster to another person, and they have to try and draw it based on the description and potentially not knowing what the D&D monster actually looks like in real life. So we're going to get like an artist, like if you're reporting a crime and you have to like describe the person who did the crime, and an artist does the drawing. It's kind of like that, but with D&D monsters. And the other difference is that we're not necessarily very good at drawing. So we'll see how good those come out. That should be quite a bit of fun. And then on Saturday, I believe we're playing Monikers with Eurogamer.
Yeah, Monikers!
I've never played before.
Oh my goodness, slowly, it's so good.
I have to say, the amount of games that I've never played before, but played for the first time on stage with Dicebreaker. Like, Werewolf is another one I'd never played before playing on stage. Actually, maybe that's the only one. Anyway, we're going to play Monikers with Eurogamer at 3 p.m. on Saturday. And on Sunday, we're going to revisit something that we did at EGX 2 years ago. So last time we were there, 2019, I think it might have been my first time on stage with Dicebreaker. We played Cash and Guns against Team Eurogamer. And we will be revisiting that and bringing back the beef. I believe Andy Farrand from Oxbox is joining us for one of the streams. I've now forgotten which one, but for one of those streams, he's joining in as well. You can tell from the thumb if you set yourself a reminder on our YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah, you should tune in regardless of who's joining.
Yeah,
Dicebreaker, because it's Dicebreaker.
It's Dicebreaker.
So, yeah. The others are just an added extra, frankly.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. If you see us around the show floor, come say hi, by the way, as well, if you're going to be there. I'm very excited to actually see people.
It's going to be a lot. Going from 0 to everything in the space of a week. Mm-hmm. It's going to be full on, but I'm excited.
Back for a day, and then we go to Essen, so...
Matt and I will not be at EGX.
But don't let that stop you.
Yeah, no, don't stop you. But obviously, we're preparing our boat that we're going to sail on over to Germany. But definitely watch EGX if you're going. Go and watch the live shows. It's going to be awesome. Do we know if you're going to have any merch there or not?
I believe we might do, but I don't know for sure. I should probably find this out.
Yeah, have a look.
Check the merch store.
Yeah, check the merch store. We might have some Dicebreaker merch there, but I'm really excited because EGX was like the first event that we did together.
Yeah, it was my first week on the job. Yeah, fourth.
Yeah,
day.
it was my second week, I think, on the job, and it was very exciting. But Also, thanks to John Moskowitz for your lovely. Why has my brain gone down the
Super
toilet?
chat.
Super
Help
chat.
me. Super
Yeah.
chat.
If
If you wanted to put any text in there, it's not there. So put it in.
Yeah.
We'll read it.
we also had one even from Dicebreaker Plus VIP Josh Bunton.
Oh.
Who said, "Good morning from California. Hope all has been well. Can't wait for EGX." So thanks very much,
Yeah.
Josh and John.
Thank you.
But yeah, we can't wait
wait.
either. It's been it's definitely one of the highlights of this job is just seeing people and seeing games. And the last year we haven't been able to do. I was going to say as much of that. We haven't been able to do any of that really. So it's just exciting to get it going.
This is the first event we're going to since the thing.
The situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth stating, obviously, if you're going to Essen or going to EGX, like obviously wear a mask, like be considerate of others, make sure that you get yourself tested beforehand. If you have any symptoms, to go in, and I believe for EGX you need to be double vaxxed as well as Essen. So obviously,
remember to do your vax thing.
Yes,
Matt's been telling us that for like 4 weeks. Do the vax thing on the NHS app, please.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, I will. But yeah. Next week we will be at Essen, all of us except Wills, because he's going on holiday.
To not Essen.
To not Essen. But we will be going, and we're all very, very excited. Aren't we, boys and girls and everyone?
Board games!
We will, we'll get onto that in a second.
Board games for everyone, board games for you.
Oh goodness, that song! How do you remember that song?
That's slightly out of tune,
I think
but
you'll
I
find
can't
it was
remember.
A very catchy Dicebreaker theme, Alex.
Yeah,
Dicebreaker.
Yeah, no, that's the one
if you don't know what we're going on about, you should watch Dicebreaker Does Taskmaster, which we did a few weeks ago, and it's very funny. And we had to write a theme tune for Dicebreaker. Yeah, and it will get stuck in your head as well. I have found myself singing Dicebreaker like, over the last few weeks. It's incredible.
I think when you go on the stage at EGX, someone needs to do that into the microphone.
Like a wrestling entrance theme.
Yeah, let's do it. It's a good show.
Definitely do that. Have you played anything else, Lolies?
Yeah, I actually have. Do you know, I hadn't even played that in the last week. We just started talking about it, but I played that 2 weeks ago and I did talk about it last week. But anyway, I have played in the last week, legit, more Hero Realms, which, as I mentioned this before, it's like the sibling of my favorite Star Realms. And I have to say, I'm enjoying the digital version so much that it's climbing up the ranks for me. I've played the physical and the digital version. The fun thing with the digital version, it's like still in beta, so it's like not everyone has access to it at the moment, I don't think, unless you back the Kickstarter. But you can like level up your heroes, which is like quite addictive, because you get you get to upgrade your cards, your skill cards or whatever they're called. I don't know what they're called. And that's quite exciting to be like level up, see what I get next, and also your health goes up, which makes you stronger, obviously. But then I also own the physical version, so even though I've owned the physical version for about 4 years, never touched it, I finally actually unpacked it and played it, and yeah, it's really good. There's also an expansion that I haven't opened yet, where one of you can play as a dragon, and then the rest of you play as heroes and you fight the dragon, which I'm really keen to try, but have not yet, because I've just been getting to grips with the base characters and stuff. But yeah, that's good. And I played a couple of games of Mysterium at the weekend.
Oh, spooks!
Mm-hmm.
Spooky!
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, exactly. It was really good. I was the ghost in the first round. I think there was how many of us were there playing? Was it four in the first round? And then I think we played 6 of us in the next round. But anyway, there was, I think, only 4 of us playing the first round, and we won, because of course I'm a brilliant ghost, and I'm very smart and beautiful. So
yeah, that helps with being the ghost.
It does, yeah. People I think are really keen to try and help you find out, put you to rest when they know that you're smart and beautiful.
Yeah, because then they might be like, when I go to heaven.
Yeah. And then the second game, somebody else was the ghost, and we lost. So.
Oh wow.
Um,
See, that's where they went wrong. You weren't the ghost.
No, but to be fair, I think in the second game, because it was more of us, it was a lot harder, I think. Because there's obviously more you got to do with the same amount of cards as the ghost, and it's a toughie, but it was still good fun. And I hadn't played it in a while, so it was quite fun to revisit such a spoopy classic game. I think there's been 2 videos recently about Mysterium by our very own Liv, so you should go check those out if you haven't already.
You should, because Mysterium is a classic.
Very good.
And if you wanted to pick up a copy for the Halloween season, then you can learn how to play it from our wonderful Liv. Is that a learn how to play game, or is that why you should?
It's a why you should play. But hey, it's the first step is learning why you should play it. And then you learn how to play it.
You should watch that and be like, oh, this is really good. And then you should buy the game.
It's funny because I was trying to teach the game at the weekend, and I realized halfway through teaching that I think the only time I'd ever taught the game previously was when I was a games guru, and at the time it was before the English version of the game came out, so like only the Polish version of the game was around, and it has slightly different rules, and so I only know how to teach those rules. And so when when we were playing at the weekend, I was like, oh yeah, there's this other thing with clairvoyance tokens, but even though I've played the game with them previously, I couldn't remember how they actually worked, and so it was like,
I've played games without them before. They're not like essential. They kind of just sort of help some players maybe like inch up slightly towards, because obviously the more points you get, the more cards you get to see at the end.
Yeah.
A little while. The digital version is pretty good.
Yeah, there's a Steam version that I just downloaded recently. I haven't played it yet. We just played on TTS, but I'm really keen to try the Steam version. It looks really good. I saw somebody else stream it, and I was like, oh, that looks sick. I didn't know that was a thing. So
it's much like there is some decent Mysterium mods on Tabletop Simulator, but obviously like the app version is just more efficient, and 2, you pay for the thing, so I guess you're supporting
support the people that make it.
You're supporting the people that make it. But anything else, Lolies, that you have played?
I think that's everything I've played. The only other things I've watched, I've been catching up on the Great British Bake-Off, which is great, and I love Jürgen. He's the greatest, and I love him so much.
I've not watched this week's episode yet.
I no spoilers. All I'm saying is that Jürgen is my fave, and I want him to win, and I love him so much, and I just want him to be happy. That's all I want. I just want him to just be happy and have a smile and feel happy feelings.
He is a really nice German man.
He is so lovely. And I've been watching Why the Last Man, which is a really interesting. Have you watched it as well, Matt? Because you're
no, but I've read the comics, and
okay.
I was looking forward to the TV series. I've heard, I would say, mixed things. So I'm kind of interested to hear what you think of it if you've not read the comics.
Yeah, I've not read the comics, and so the whole premise of it is like new to me. It's only like 4 episodes in as well. It's coming out every week, so we'll see like where this goes by the end of the season, how I feel about it by the end of the season. But for anyone who doesn't know, the premise is that it's some kind of disease or something just wipes out all people with a Y chromosome, just like all of a sudden, just within like minutes, and it except for one cisgender man and his monkey, who's also male. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had
and the monkey's
laugh.
called Ampersand.
Yes.
Which I think is hilarious, and he's called Yorick. It's very, it's very like okay, yeah. Sure.
Well, so somebody in chat is saying so all men. This is where it's quite interesting because it's not necessarily all men. Like the television series certainly like explores. I don't really know how to like. Because there was a lot of science talk, and I'm not a sciencey person, but like it kind of talks about how, you know, there's a lot of people who are like female presenting, and they didn't realize that they had like male hormones like that, or like male chromosomes, and it was like that they also died, and it's just really interesting. It's called Why the Last Man, and as I say, it's only 4 episodes in, so I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but so far, really interesting.
I believe there's also a transgender character in the series as
Yes.
well, from what I remember.
Yeah, so this is something that features a bit because obviously there's supposedly no men, and so any men that you see are trans, and so Yorick, people often think he's trans because he's male presenting, and people are like, all men are dead, so you must be trans. But then it's also like because everyone just kind of goes a bit mad and like robs all the like drugstores and stuff, and it's like for the people who are trans, they are trying to find like hormones because they just can't get access to them, and it's like it's quite tough. It's really good. I really like it.
Yeah, I heard mixed things because I was aware of the comic series, but I've never gone around to reading it, and then I heard mixed things about the series. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Loli.
Yeah, I find it really interesting, and I like explores some subjects that like I wasn't 100% aware of, and that I wouldn't necessarily even think about. And I am intrigued by it. So.
Yeah,
it's on Disney Plus.
Well, there you go.
I may be misremembering, but I think the comics, at least one of the creators or co-creators, then went on to do Saga, which is also very good.
Yeah,
maybe
Saga's
getting
great.
my comic series kind of crossed over, but I went backwards from Saga to Why the Last Man. And was like, oh, this is very good. It's not that long either.
Was Why Image then?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that would probably make sense then, because Saga is also published by Image. So I like you, Matt. Pretty much only have read really Image comics or Fables, which is Vertigo, which no longer exists, I believe. R.I.P. Right.
That's all I've been up to. Move on.
Wonderful stuff.
All right, okay. Alex Meehan.
Hello.
What have you been up to since we last saw you on this here podcast?
What do you want?
I'm telling you. Stop calling me. No, because I've been away for a little bit, I played quite a few board games actually, so I can talk about those. I played quite a few games of Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Woo, yeah.
Loli's favourite game.
Love it.
Well, Star Realms is your favourite game, but one of your favourites.
Quacks is top 3.
Yeah. There's something you need to know about Quacks. Number 1, it slaps.
Yes.
It absolutely slaps. Yeah. Number 2, I need to buy a copy.
Yes. It's like 30 quid. It's not even that expensive when you consider all the bits that are in there. It's actually, I think it's like super. You could probably even get it cheaper now. I feel like, yeah. Anyway, go on. Keep talking. I'm just getting excited. I think you can get it for like 26 quid, but keep going.
Yeah, I've been sort of sniffing around for the right price. I need to get it at the right time. But like playing it the other week just sort of cemented in my mind of like, okay, I need to own this because none of my friends own it. And so we often don't buy board games that our friends also own because then we're like, well, like, you know, if we want to play that, we can kind of hang out with them and play it, unless they're games that we really like. And Quacks is one of those. So I played 2 games of Quacks in a row. I won one, the other person won the other. It was we were playing 2-player, and it still works really well with 2 players.
That's the good thing about Quacks. It doesn't really matter the number of players.
For those who may not know, Quacks of Quedlinburg. Number 1, you should watch the video that Loli's did about it. Number 2, it's like a bag building game, which basically means you've got this little bag full of tokens. There's certain tokens you want to pull out, there's certain ones you don't want to pull out, and then as you go through the games, you can put more tokens in there that you want to bring out, and then you kind of pull tokens and push your luck and see how far you can kind of get along this track without your pot exploding, because that's bad. But it's just so good. And this person I was playing it with had never played it before, and we finished the game and they were like, can we play it again? And I was like, yes, we can.
I'd say the expansions are good as well. I think Alchemist, in my opinion, is better than Herb Witches, but
Witches,
definitely worth checking out if you've not played them. Yep.
Yeah, so that's Quacks. I also played some Monikers, talking of Monikers.
Hey!
Yeah, so the friend group I was with over the weekend, Monikers is like our go-to game that we play when we're feeling a bit loosey-goosey. We've had a few bevies. And we kind of want to have some fun. And I believe we played with the base pack because there's loads of different packs of Monikers. And it's just really good. It's just such good fun. But Voldo has basically become an icon in that game for us because the pack that we were playing with has Voldo in it, who, for those who may not know, is a Soul Calibur character who fights in a very particular way. And there is a Voldo card, spoiler alert, in that, I think, the base set. And Lolies, you may not know. I don't know whether to spoil the premise of the game for you, but you basically have to try and explain these cards without mentioning the names of the thing you're trying to explain. But like there are multiple rounds, and one of them is you only act. So when we had Voldo once, guess it was Voldo. Yeah, it was really good. And what else? We played Stay Cool, which is great.
Oh yeah, I love Stay Cool.
Yeah, which is a party game where one person is trying to answer questions with speech and with these dice, like two different types of questions at the same time. And it's quite stressful. And we played with like more people than the game recommends because I feel like it's just a game that you can kind of just scale. Like I don't think the extra players really make any difference. It just takes a bit longer to get round with the next, through the next rounds. But yeah, it was really good. I did not do well because I got really stuck on one question and then my time ran out.
That's what happened to me when we played it for the video. And it was like a really stupid question. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
There are some, I will say, as a criticism for that game, there are some questions in it which are just really mean or like really stupid or just outright like incorrect. And I suspect it's because it's been translated from French. Because Scorpion Mask, the publisher and maker, are French. So I think there might have been some issues there. Matt Jarvis looks like he wants to say something.
French Canadian, I think. But yeah, I remember some of the wording being vague. And I don't know if it's just deliberately meant to be that way because it's meant to then kind of, they're not hard questions, but the vagueness of them makes them more difficult than you think, or whether it is just kind of writing issue in it. Yeah, I generally like it though.
Yeah,
but it is you can watch us playing it, and it's stressful enough. And then in that particular video, a fire alarm goes off. In the office. So at one point, there's just a fire alarm going off in the background. Which, if you need to ramp up the pressure of playing an already kind of intense game, just having a fire alarm blare in the background is not a bad way.
We also played Shadowhunters, which I love. It's the worst game ever made, but it's also the best. It's basically like imagine Mario Party. Which is often described as being like a board game, but it's essentially Mario Party, the board game, but with anime. So yeah,
that sounds terrible.
It's terrible, but it's
sounds
great.
Right.
You roll like dice to move around these different cards, and then depending where you are, you can do different actions. But players have like a hidden role, and there are different teams, and you have to basically figure out who's on your team. But you can go through entire parts of the game of like having absolutely no idea who's who. So then you'll just attack people. Some people just attack people regardless of knowing their identity because Shadowhunters is just that kind of game. It's just stupid. But although I found out my copy had gotten moldy, which is gross. Not happy about that. But yeah, we played a game called Insider. Which is Oink and Oink.
Yeah, I love Insider.
remade as Werewords.
Yes.
Is Werewords
sort-
actually a remake? I thought it was its
Yeah.
own thing.
It's a
is.
contentious topic because it's not officially based on the mechanics, but it is very mechanically similar to the point where I believe at the time where Werewords came out,
Yeah.
Oink straight up tweeted at the publisher of Werewords to be like, "Hey, that's our game."
And it was like a
so
year after Insider came out as well.
Yeah,
sure.
it was. There was definitely contentious.
And Werewords was
around
like
it,
super
but-
popular that year as well. I felt really bad for Oink Games because
Yeah.
Insider, I love Insider. It's really good.
I think it just I guess it doesn't have that theme that really seems to sell, which is just werewolves. Just everyone wants to buy something with werewolves on it.
No, I'm gonna go on record here.
Oh
and say
goodness, here we go.
I hate the look of the Ultimate Werewolf games in particular. I really don't like the art style.
Oof.
I agree.
Because Werewords is fine because it's Insider. It's like it's still a fun gameplay concept, but I just didn't like the way it looked at all. The art style does nothing for me, and every time I see those games, I'm just like, the art style alone puts me off them.
Yeah, I think that game that's kind of like a spin-off from Werewolves, Silver, the art style in that is horrible. I hate it so much. It looks like a knockoff Pixar. It's just really gross. I just hate it. Everyone's so shiny and slimy. It's just foul. But no, Insider was pretty good. Yeah, that's a game where someone knows like what the question is, the answer, to the question that the person sort of is in a role of like, hey, you need to ask me questions and I say yes or no. And you've got to figure out what it is. And the Insider wants to kind of help the whole group, but without being caught. And then the group have to try and guess who the Insider is.
Yeah, it's like cooperative, and then they all turn and try and figure out who the Insider is, which I think, I love that, because it's like, you're all like happy friends, let's work together, and then it's like, yeah, but which one of us knew the answer though? We need to hunt you down.
It's the ultimate compromise for you, Lolies. Yeah, it was good, and it comes in a cute little box, as many Oink games do. I had fun. It was good. And then we also play classics, 6-Nim.
That's a great game. You should play Professional Rules, just saying.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I've talked about it quite a lot on the podcast, so I won't expand. But we played it in person, and I playing it. We by then we'd had we were a few drinks in. Dicebreaker encourages you to drink responsibly, and people kind of had this air of like, oh, what the hell. I'm putting myself in the bin. Like, it was a very kind of fatalistic attitude, because we joke that playing 6-Nim is like putting yourself like welcome to hell. Like, this game hates you.
666.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one of the few board games that I prefer playing like digitally, like on BGA, just because it's so fiddly otherwise. And not is it just fiddly, but you have to like do maths and stuff, and it's like, I don't mind fiddly or maths when it comes to games, but because it's such a simple game, I just want to crack on with it. Like, I don't want to be spending time on that, like those little bits.
The board game arena version of 6-Nim is really good.
Yeah.
So but yeah, we played that in person for a little bit, and we also played we played Brute in person. It was a wonderful experience. I know, it was a wonderful experience. I played it once in person way back, and was very confused. But now coming back to the physical version after all this time and all these games of Brute, it was like, oh my goodness, it almost felt like it was both like I'm home, but also like this is a different game, because the digital version of Root does a lot of the admin for you and cuts out a lot of like, it does a lot of the rule stuff kind of in the back end. So you don't really need to think about that much. Whereas when you're playing in person, you obviously have to like keep an eye on all that stuff. And it does kind of make it almost a different experience. But it was really great. I played the Airy, classic. Love those birds. I came second, 3 points away from winning. Here's the big problem: we had some new people playing with us, and we were like, "Oh, we'll be nice. Like they've never played before. We'll teach them how to play, and then we won't be too. We'll craft some things for them because they were the vagabond." And that was our big downfall because they won. Because they were playing as a team of 2 people to start with, but also they were playing the vagabond, who is often a faction that kind of just gets away with things because people don't really pay so much attention to them. Yes, Jarvis.
Well, I think we've spoken about this before, but I think that game, like, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it, but I think it does depend on people generally being at the same level of skill edge and also being willing to fight each other a little bit more, and it kind of balances out through the expectation that you'll constantly be fighting whoever's pulling ahead, because and often whoever pulls ahead then just gets piled on, and it makes it very hard to win. And then the idea is that everyone then shifts onto whoever pulls ahead then, and it's just constantly switching. But I think, I think one of its biggest weaknesses, which is not to say that it's like a weakness overall, because I think it's a good game, but it just isn't. It isn't the easiest thing, A, to teach, or B, to have new players in versus kind of more experienced players.
Yeah. I mean, they picked up really quickly, which we were really impressed by, because that game is not easy to kind of take in quickly. And especially with the Vagabond, who has like some different elements to it that you need to kind of keep track of. But we were kind of feuding amongst ourselves. The Airy and the Cats and the Alliance. We did eventually pile on top of the Alliance because that's what you do. As soon as they start getting bases down, that's it. Like, you got to cut that stuff out. Even the Vagabonds were getting involved, but I did feel a bit bad because then the person playing the Alliance was they were kind of in a position where it was very difficult for them to get points after that. And then it was basically me versus the Cats, but then the Vagabond kind of snuck behind. And I couldn't get at the Vagabond because they were across the map.
Yeah.
And the Cats were blocking me. So, you know what? It was great. And speaking to my friend afterwards, I was like, "Oh, what was your favourite part of that weekend?" And they were like, "Oh, Root. Like, playing Root was the best part." And I was like, "Playing Root is great." And it's just wonderful that we already have those existing kind of almost memes around the game, so that when like inevitably I fell into turmoil, of course the birdie boiler happened. It's just we have a lot of love for that game. It's very good, and that's what I played.
Nice. Anything else, or was it just all games?
We played some Mario Party. Shout out to Monty Mole, gay icon Monty Mole, everyone. he's the best. Love him. He was done dirty in Mario Party. That's the one on the Switch, which is okay. And that's about it, really. I've still not watched Squid Game.
Squid Squad. You should.
Squid
Squad. Hashtag
It's so
Squid
good.
Squad.
I'm going to. I know. But
I've started watching Alice in Borderland actually because I was told that if I liked Squid Squad that I should watch that.
I've heard mixed things about that one.
Yeah, do you know what? It was funny because I put it on last night. So I tried to watch it the other day while I was eating dinner and then stopped, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll give it another go tomorrow," like last night. And I put it on, thinking that I had maybe like 10 minutes left in the episode. I had literally gotten in 15 minutes last time before I gave up on it. But by the time I got to the end of the episode, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm willing to watch this now. I'm in. I don't think it like matches up with Squid Squad, but it's it seems alright. I don't know. It's very different. I think the acting is quite different. It's a bit more. It's very like anime. I feel like. It's like they're real life anime characters sometimes, the way they're quite like
Matt Jarvis clearly wants to speak. I can see him about to explode.
No, I haven't seen Alice in Borderland, although I've heard a
Okay.
few people mention it as something they've kind of watched either before or after Squid Game. So
Yeah,
maybe
we'll see how it goes. But so far, I'm like, it seems alright. Like, kind of scratches a similar itch, but it's just not. I'm not as into it, I think, as I am with Squid Game.
I just need to finish Sex Education Series 4? 3? 3.
Yes.
I need to finish Series 3. The problem is I keep watching a show on Netflix called The Big Family Cook-Off or something? Because I just want to watch something where I just don't have to do, think, anything.
Yeah, because you have to read the subtitles for Squid Squad. It's like a bit more.
Well, I want to pay attention
engaged.
to Squid Squad. This is the thing. But the Great Family Cook-Off, you can just sit there and just be like Zoe Ball is talking about something. But I'm gonna finish Sex Education Series 3 and then I will watch Squid Squad. It's happening. Just pull me out of this family cook-off hole. Help me, please.
No, you enjoy it.
I'm kidnapped. Matthew Jarvis,
hello.
round us out. Tell us what's going on.
Tell you what, it's a quick one because I haven't played any games because I've been very busy with other stuff and various illnesses and planning for things. I watched all of Sex Education,
yes!
which my wife and I had not seen before. I enjoyed it very much. Eric is great. Otis sucks.
Why are these women? Why do these women want to get with him all the time? I do not.
He's terrible. This. He's just.
There's no spoilers for season 3, please. I'm currently watching through.
We won't say. Sorry, we won't say anything specific.
No. Yeah, it's just Sometimes it's like, I can see how this is trying to be a redemptive arc for you, but also, you don't seem to have learned anything.
Yeah.
And you don't seem to be particular. And I guess that's teenagers. I don't know. I don't have any. I was a teenager once, but I try and desperately forget it. Thanks. Other than that, been watching Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is great. It's fantastic. It's got really, really good animation. I love it very much. I can't remember what film we watched recently. We watched a film recently. I've forgotten it.
No Time to Die.
No.
Oh, do you know what I really want to watch? I forgot what it's called. But I found it last night, and I was like, "This looks great. I'll get back to you." Hold on, I'll get back to you.
Lolies is like, "Quick! I've got this really important." Oh, hang on.
It's fine. I can fill in the meantime.
You want to see Dune, which is coming?
I would like to see Dune. Yes.
I'm excited about Dune.
To be honest, I've done
Guilty.
little else. The Guilty.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
On
Noted.
Netflix.
I've done very little else. I played a bit of the original Castlevanias because we watched Castlevania relatively recently. And I was like, oh, I like Castlevania because I love Symphony of the Night. And then I tried to go back and play Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse.
Yeah, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse is what, like, the Netflix show. It's very
which is, I was kind of intrigued. And then I remembered why I don't play the older Castlevanias because I'm very bad at them and they're very harsh in terms of if you die, you just reset right to the start.
Everything.
Like, I don't have time for this in my life anymore.
In those games, everything is just going to knock you off all the platforms forever. That's what the game does. All the enemies just like are there to push you off the platform.
And the jumping is that thing of there's no mid-air control, so you have to decide how far you're moving.
Oh god!
Before you press the jump button, or as you press the jump button, you can't mid-air it. So
to stick to Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night, one of the greatest games ever made, but the other Castlevanias just.
I've heard great things about Super Castlevania. I've heard like that one's a bit more accessible to get into, but I've never played a Castlevania game. I love the Netflix series. I've never played Symphony of the Night, but I mean that's the one with Alucard in it. So
Symphony of the Night is a masterpiece. Everyone should play it at least once. I played it very recently. I didn't play it as a kid. I picked it up only a few years ago and really, really loved it. It really holds up. It is genuinely fantastic.
It's on the list. It's on the pile along with Super Metroid of games that I'm like, I probably should play these.
Never played a Metroid either. Played like many Metroidvanias. Never played Metroid or Vania. So that was mostly me.
Mostly you. Where's the rest of you?
That's I don't know. At this point, I'm just clinging on to what's left of me. You know.
Let's keep the hype rolling then.
Let's keep the hype rolling as we roll into.
Emo.
This week we decided. Oh, we're rolling into news first. I almost skipped the news section.
I
say it whenever I want. It's a surprise.
It's a short news section this week because obviously a lot is building for Essen, so we'll no doubt see a lot out of there. But the big news this week is that Cole Wehrle, probably best known for Root, but also for Oath and for PAX Premiere, John Company, a number of games. Cole Wehrle has kind of teased his next game, which is called ARSE, because it's a later game, so of course it's a four-letter title.
What? All right.
Later games, ARSE, ARCS.
Okay, I didn't hear it. Okay, I didn't hear the C the first time around.
ARSE, collapse and... Not collapse. ARSE, collapse and conflict in the void.
I thought you said ARSE first time, and so that
ARSE,
would have been
perfect.
I mean, ARSE, collapse and conflict in the void
games.
does check out.
Later games, if you're listening, we've got a suggestion.
I mean, ARSE is still 4 letters long. They can make it work. Where's our
and it
ARSE
still
game,
works with the rest of it. What's this full title again? ARSE, collapse.
ARSE, collapse and conflict in the void.
Works.
Now I can't. I'm
ARSE
trying
again,
desperately not to say ARSE. So it's ARSE. It is from Cole Wehrle, as I say, of Root. The art is by Shock, surprise. Cole Wehrle of Root. And the publisher is
what a
Shock,
legend.
surprise.
Can't wait to see
Later
him
games
drawing
of Root.
What a legend, Cole Wehrle. They're back.
So it's relatively familiar territory in terms of who's working on it. Both Cole Wehrle and Cole Wehrle are within the studio of later games, so that's not much of a surprise. And what's interesting about this is it's kind of billed by Cole as, so ARSE is the working title, I should point out, and all of these details is kind of very upfront in saying, hey, like a lot could change. Like Oath changed a lot before it came out as well. At one point, the combat system was all based on ratios, which is kind of wild, rather than just dice. But this is described as being kind of spun out of some of the ideas of Oath, which I loved very much. You can find a review on the website or the YouTube channel. I absolutely love Oath. But it's spun out of the idea of Oath as being this evolving world and kind of built for players to tell their own stories in. But this is a sci-fi game, and it's billed as being much more of a kind of narrative-driven game, but in shorter bursts. So whereas Oath, a lot of the Chronicle system, which was kind of like the deck of cards at the heart of that game that would change depending on who won and what players did in each game, and it would just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and it would change the setup for future games. With ARSE, it's billed as being a campaign game that only lasts 2 to 4 sessions, which is about 3 to 5 hours. And Wehrle has said that this is his simplest game yet. He says if Oath was like learning 3 Root factions at once, this is like learning 1 Root faction. So it is, it's super straightforward.
Is that how Cole Wehrle judges difficulty now? How many Root factions?
Roots. How many Roots is this?
How many Root factions is Cosmic Encounter?
So it's also said that because it's much more of a kind of, there's a fixed start, middle, and end to it of these campaigns, and you can save between individual sessions, or you can just kind of blast through in like a singles play. But there will be kind of bigger changes to a lot of the world and the story that players kind of experience. Whereas with Oath, it was kind of like a gradual kind of like constant shifting, because like you never reset back to the same thing every time. This feels like you kind of have your moments, big things happen, and then you reset the whole thing and go again, and then different things can spin out depending on what the players do. And that's kind of what we know. There's a few more details which you can read in our story, but generally, he mentions like an intriguing action structure, which doesn't mean a lot in
that's very vague buzzwords.
But it looks like a Cole Wehrle game. It sounds like a Cole Wehrle game. It's very interested in exploring kind of
like a Cole Wehrle game though.
We'll find out. I will not be the one to tell you.
I hope I hope the smell is not in a particular direction.
New box smell. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's the ingredients you would expect, and to me, it sounds really exciting because I absolutely adore Oath. I love Root, but the big thing with both of those games is they are quite hefty to teach anyone that isn't already playing games like that. And so this is like play sessions are said to be, I think, 45 minutes to an hour long tops, or maybe 60 to 70, something like that, but about an hour. And like I say, it's said to be much simpler than Root. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I will throw my hands up and say that I love Cole Wehrle games like almost unanimously.
Yeah, you are a Wehrle fanboy. It's true.
Like I love Root to bits. I love Oath. Like I love PAX Premiere. Like I think they are some of the best games I've ever played. Let alone in the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, Root is the best. Root is the best
is.
game ever made. So there's no
Exactly.
You can't dispute that.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. They say that there'll be more details towards the end of this year, and there will probably be a Kickstarter in the first half of 2022. Which, if we're going by Oath, I think Oath kind of landed a good 8-9 months after its Kickstarter. I'm just remembering off the top of my head, so don't take that as fact. So I would suspect that we'll either see it towards the end of next year or in 2023. But it's a new early game, it's a new Ferrin game, it's a new later games game. It's pretty exciting stuff. It could honestly, for me, it could be the perfect game. Like it means I can convince more people to play it. It's set in space, which is something that I'm very partial to. And it's Wehrle and Ferrin.
Yeah, this might be the most Matt Jarvis game ever made. All it needs is like
trains.
It's not anime enough.
Yeah, it does. Number one, it needs that. Okay, so listen here.
Anime trains.
Cole Wehrle, it needs more anime, it needs more trains, and it needs a system whereby you have some sort of trading economy.
Wow, I
preferably
feel
involving boxes.
I feel like I'm just being dissected live on air. Into,
also, if you can grow pasta, then even better.
Wow, that's another reference to our Taskmaster video.
Mm-hmm. So.
What else is in the news, Matt? Tell us.
Well, that's the main story that I've pulled. The other one I just wanted to quickly highlight is there's currently an RPG bundle up on itch, which is obviously a great marketplace for indie games. There are a lot of great stuff on there. But there's a bundle currently running through the whole of October, which is raising funds towards those in Afghanistan, either targeted by or fleeing the Taliban. Particularly, I think, lawyers and activists, and those who've worked with kind of foreign countries in the local region. So yeah, there's some really interesting games in there. There's a game inspired by the steamed hams meme from The Simpsons, which sounds fantastic. There's a game about robbing the British Museum and taking back all of the artifacts that it itself stole from various colonized countries. I don't actually have the story up in front of me. I'm just remembering these off the top of my head. I think there's a game that involves you going through books and creating poetry out of random fragments of books.
Looking at some now, there is. Great. Oh my goodness, I've seen this one before. There's the one I believe where you called The Quiet Life, where you live life as a gay nun and you have to basically find happiness in that life. I've seen that one before on itch, and I was like, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a really strong lineup, I would say. I think there's 20 games in there. Yeah, no, there's more than 20 games. There's like 70, I think. It's $20. I think I'm confusing my numbers.
Through some of these, and they look really good. There's also one about being in the Regency period, which... all that. So, go and look at it.
Yeah, and I think there's also like a print and play board game in there. There's a copy of Weird magazine, which is about tabletop RPGs as well. So it's not all RPGs, but it is predominantly indie RPGs, but there seems to be a great selection. It's not that expensive. There's a lot in there, and it's for a good cause. So go and check it out. Like I say, it runs through the whole of October. You can find it on our website, or I think if you just search for TRPG bundle for Afghan support. Sorry. So finally, in a short news sections, I just wanted to have a quick event update because I know some folks will be interested. So obviously, EGX is taking place this weekend. Essen Spiel is next week. We now know that Gen Con will be back next year. They've announced that it's coming back. It's returning to its normal August slot, so it moved out of August this year into September because of obviously COVID. So we know that it's returning to its traditional August slot, which I think it's been in for all but one of the last 50 years. It's taken place some point in August. We also know that PAX Unplugged, which I should say is run by the company that owns us, ReadPop, it's taking place in December, and they've announced that you will need full vaccination to enter, and masks will be mandatory throughout. So if you're getting ready to go to PAX Unplugged or considering it, be aware of that and make sure that you are vaxxed up and masked up, please. So there we go. That's just a kind of, hey, FYI about these shows. Before we move on, I'll quickly highlight some bits from the website. There's a fantastic piece we've got on folklore RPGs from Linda Codega, which is up now. There's Martin Keetor on the Pokemon trading card Game Boy game that never came out outside of Japan. It's called Pokemon Card GB2. Here Comes Great Team Rocket, I think. But it just never saw a wider release. I think if anyone's like me, I played so much of the trading card Game Boy game and never knew there was a sequel. But it sounds really interesting. There's some kind of like, it debuted some cards before they even existed in the actual physical card game. So it's a really interesting story. There's Reed Conley, who chats about why playing games like music has been kind of brought a lot of entertainment or enjoyment back to the hobby, which is a really, really great piece. Chase, our wonderful news reporter, spoke to Grant Howitt, Kieran Gillen, and Stephanie Hans about the Die RPG. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff up on the website, obviously with news as well. I think we highlighted your Blade Runner piece from last week, Meehan, but just in case we missed it, you wrote about Blade Runner and the upcoming RPG and why it could be something special. So there's a lot on the website, so you should go and check it out.
Yeah, and this month, keep an eye out for horror stuff.
Yes. Spook season.
Yeah, we do have a wonderful list of horror board games that are perfect for Halloween. We also have a list of horror RPGs as well. And we've got loads of really exciting and great horror-related content. Hashtag content.
Hashtag content.
Coming soon. So
yeah, across both YouTube channel and website. So yeah, go and check them out. All right. This week's weekly segment, we decided to just kind of knock it out. So we're not playing a game, but we are just going to pick out some stuff that we're looking forward to at Essen Spiel, which hopefully we'll have a chance to take a closer look at when we're out in Germany next week. But there's a lot of stuff for folks who aren't fully aware. Like Essen Spiel, generally considered the biggest board game convention in the world. It's very much it kind of grew out of a trade show. It's been going 40 odd years, I think. It is enormous traditionally, and it's a show full of releases. So Gen Con, which takes place in the US over the summer, tends to be more. There are a lot of releases there as well, but it tends to have actual kind of like people on stage doing things, announcing things. Like Fancy Flight, for instance, run their in-flight report during Gen Con, and there's awards and stuff like that. Essen is just pure, here's a load of games. Here's like thousands of new games on a show floor. Go and check them out.
It's great. And cheese pretzels.
And cheese pretzels.
For the low price of €5, and it's so good.
Yeah,
wow, are you sponsored by cheese pretzels?
I bloody wish I was. I'll be honest. I wish I was.
Cheese pretzels, if you're listening, sponsor Dicebreaker, please. And then
just cheese pretzels, the concept. Pretzels. Yeah, not a particular brand, just the food stuff as a whole.
Well, this German stand in particular at Essen Spiel.
If that stand's not there this year, you're going to be devastated.
I will get back on the plane and leave.
We're not going on a plane, so that'll be even more interesting. I will get
back on the train and I will leave.
Just hop on a random plane, like, I'm so offended.
Yeah, they'll be like, ma'am, why are you here? You don't even have a ticket. And you're like,
I'll be like, cheese pretzel situation. And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. Get on.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair dues.
We'll upgrade you to first class. So yeah, is there anything? If we just pick out a couple of things, it's a very loosey-goosey approach we're taking here. All right, Lolies, you kick us off.
Lolies on the list.
Well, I took some screenshots of games that I was interested in. Uwe Rosenberg, one of my favorite designers, who's got some like hit and misses, but is one of my favorites nonetheless. There seems to be a new game by him called this is a German name, Tulpenfieber, which is just tulip fever. And to be honest, just the fact that his name is on it makes me intrigued. But also, it's about tulips, and the cover looks quite fun. Like you've got a like it looks like a musketeer all in blue and a musketeer all in red, and they're standing on either side of a fence, and the blue musketeer has got blue tulips behind him, and the red musketeer has got red tulips behind him. So I'm sold, to be honest.
Lolies, is this a tile placement game?
I actually don't know.
Quite possibly if it's Uwe.
Fill your tulip fields with the right pattern first to win, it says. That's all I can
That
see.
sounds like a tile placement game, yeah.
I like tile placement games,
yeah.
so.
Uwe Rosenberg has definitely made a name, let's say, with very good tile placement games, but yes, I'm intrigued.
Get hype for Uwe.
Mm-hmm.
Rosenberg.
What else have we got?
Anything else you're looking at, Lolies?
I've got loads that I'm like, I don't know who they're by or what they're about really, but I screenshotted them just because I like the look or the sound of them at one point. So
give us a rundown.
Bad Company. Now these are screenshots, so I can't even see the description. Bad Company, Picture Perfect, which seems to be a game about taking the perfect picture, which I was intrigued about. Welcome to the Moon. I really like Welcome to Your Perfect Home. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new version of that. King Domino Origins. Quite excited about that. I like King Domino. Blue Orange. I think I've got a few games from Blue Orange here, including Neoville, which looks like a futuristic thing. I think you gotta build like structures, but it's like can't remember. Anyway, something about that. There's another one by them called the Sound Maker, which again I just have a screenshot and no other information. But
I think it's a party game, and it's kind of I think it works along the lines of you basically have to describe things with sounds, but make the sounds.
Okay.
I remember reading about it and being kind of like, oh, that sounds very simple, but actually that sounds like a good laugh.
Yeah, at the time I took these screenshots, I would have read the descriptions, and that's why I took the screenshot. But that was like several weeks ago, so I don't remember.
They should have like a picture of your face as an endorsement, and then next to it just says,
Sound Maker. Wow, I will take that.
It's a good laugh.
Sound Maker and like a wanted poster, and there's my face.
There's a game called Heimliche Herrschaft, which is like secret, like what would you call that? Like not royalty, but like people who are like that kind of thing. I can't think of the
like
other
aristocrats.
word. Yeah, I think that's kind of the word. But yeah, it's I again just have a screenshot and no other information. So that looked interesting. I'm kind of skipping through some of these because there's too many where I'm just like I have no information for you. Yeah, I think that's all that is of any relevance. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds.
All right.
Get hype.
I'll jump in.
Oh, Matt Jarvis, go!
I'm really looking forward to the new Azul Queen's Garden.
Yeah!
Garden.
Yeah! I forgot.
There's a new Azul. That's all that matters to me because Azul is fantastic. I also really like the Stained Glass of Sintra follow-up they did. I've not played Summer Pavilion, but I know that I think Wills reviewed it way back when and really liked it. So yes, I am excited for a new Azul. Those games are always great. They always have lovely clacky tiles that you can clink around as well. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to play Crash Octopus.
Yes,
which looks incredible. Which is just there's tiny little wooden boats and then octopus or like kraken tentacles as well. And you need to maneuver out, but basically it turns the table into the sea, so you just dot these around. Yeah, it seems very good. It's very like physical and dexterity based. I'm intrigued by Reload, which I think was originally called Last One Standing. Maybe I'm confusing two games, but it's basically Fortnite as a board game, and it's not licensed Fortnite, obviously, but on the face of it, I'm just kind of intrigued to see how they try and capture that battle royale feeling. But I think it only plays with up to like 4 people. So the idea of taking something that is 100 people fighting for space and then just making it 4 people on a board seems intriguing. But
I guess the
that's
thing
why I'm
with
kind of interested.
board games is that it can be quite annoying when there's a mechanic where you get knocked out, especially depends on the length of the round. But like for example, Love Letter do that, where it's like kind of one of the win conditions is last player standing. But because it's such a quick round, it doesn't really matter. But so you'd hope would be quite quick round or quite quick game, because otherwise people are just sitting around, and unlike a video game, you can't just jump into another game straight away. You have to wait for everyone else to finish.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has player elimination or if you just go and then the person who is, in the center or something like that, or gets the most points. I don't know exactly how it plays, but that's kind of why I'm intrigued to see, like, okay, this seems like a stab at trying to do this very popular video game genre. Is it actually going to work out? And I think this has been kicking around for a few years at this point, so I kind of just want to see it in person. I think, there's also a new Oink game, Scout.
Yeah, Scout!
I say new, it came out a couple of years ago, but Oink is giving it kind of a fresh coat of paint, which is about finding people for your circus. But it seems like, as with most Oink games, the gameplay I think is quite simple. You have kind of double-ended cards and then numerical, and you want to play, I think, consecutive runs or sets, but you can't rearrange the cards in your hand. So you need to pick up cards and place them into your hand in order to form sets. So yeah, Oink games are always worth a look, and this looks like they always have like fantastic visuals. They're in tiny little boxes. They're very kind of like affordable and so on. Yeah, I am a big fan of Oink. So
Shout out for Oink.
Yeah, from there I'm just
Oink.
just seeing everything else around. Alex Meehan, I expect
goodness.
you will also have some of the ones because you picked them for your preview list, which is on the website.
Yeah, if you want to know more about specific games, there is a list of 10 games that we're looking forward to seeing at Essen. But I will go through the ones that I'm excited about, aside from some of the ones that Mr. Java has already mentioned. Shout out once again to Crash Octopus. It's on everyone's lips. Dune House Secrets, I'm looking forward to. That's actually coming out at Essen. It's the latest game from, I believe it uses the same system as Detective, a modern crime board game. But it's obviously set in the world of Dune.
New Dune.
Because, they're really pushing that Dune at the moment. There's loads of different board games that are based in Arrakis. And this one is like a story-driven one where you have to use, there's like a companion app and you've got to infiltrate the bad people. You're basically rebels on Arrakis and you're doing Dune things. So I'm excited about that because I've not played a detective game, but I've wanted to because I've heard good things. So that's going to be there. Camel Up Off Season. That was at Gen Con. We've actually got a copy from there. Whoop, whoop. But it's in the office. But it's going to be at Essen as well. And I'm excited.
Know.
Because Camel Up is great.
Yeah.
My mum's
Especially
favorite board
first
game. I saw her over the weekend and she was like, I love the camel game. She still doesn't know what it's called exactly. She just knows she loves the board game with camels.
Your mum is obsessed with Camel Up.
She loves camel. Honestly, I introduced it last Christmas or the Christmas before. And since then, she's just been showing it to various friends.
Aww.
It was the Christmas before because I remember you specifically have told me multiple times that your mother is obsessed with Camel Up. But Camel Up Off Season is like a spin-off from Camel Up. And it looks pretty good. So I'm excited about that. There's another game called Dexterity Jane that I'm excited for because it's a dexterity game where I believe cards are involved and you flick the cards. And I think so. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Okay. It's hands are involved and it looks fun. So I'm excited about that. Origins First Builders, even though that is out, I think that's also going to be at Essen. That sounds pretty cool. We've actually covered quite a lot of these games on the website. The new expansion for Lost Ruins of Arnak is going to be there. Expedition Leaders, and if anyone's listened to this podcast before, they'll know I love Lost Ruins of Arnak. So excited about that. A new game in the Cockroach Poker series is going to be there. I'm not going to attempt to say its name because it's in German.
Kakerlakenpoker!
Yeah, well, this new one is like, Hushkraken poker. I
Okay.
think it's a grasshopper. Oh yeah, but I think it's going to be the German version. So I'm going to try and get someone to teach me that. I think a new Similio is going to be there, a horror themed one. We really like Similio. So a new game from Phil Walker Harding, the guy who made Sushi Go, is going to be there called Platypus. We've also covered this on the website. It's a co-op game where you can't use certain words and things like that. Exciting stuff. It's just so many games, everyone. I've got too many on my list. There's one called Bag of Butts that I'm going to find.
Of course there is.
Of course.
I
was
don't
just
care.
waiting for something like that to land. I knew it was coming.
I don't care if I have to search the entire convention space. I will find Bag of Butts. Probably going to be like on a little stall in the back.
It'll be next to the cheese pretzels.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
They have to like wave you through a red curtain. It's like, I'm looking for the bag of butts, and they just kind of gesture to like a neon light pouring out the bottom.
Out of the bottom.
Wow!
That's a different game. All right, let's quickly do a couple of emails.
Email.
First of all, we've got this comment, which John Moscovitz actually left in the chat today. Alex Lolies, would you like to read it, please?
Hold on while I get the sheet up.
Hold, please, for Alex Lolies.
The message reads, "Hi, this one. Looking forward to a spooky month of Halloween gaming. Will we ever see a continuation of your Lasers and Feelings story with Andy and Jane from 2020? I want to know what happens to Sim. Thanks."
Thanks, John.
That's actually from a new member, isn't it? New
member for
Dicebreaker.
3 months.
3 months. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. I don't know how this reads. Anyway, I don't know if we'll have a continuation. I mean, it's been over a year. Probably.
I think it may have even been for last year's EGX that Lasers and Feelings was around.
Was it the Star Trek one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that's probably not gonna happen. Just based on the fact that it was like a year ago. And
Johnny ran it, I believe.
No, it was Wheels.
Was it Johnny? It was
It was Wheels. Wheels ran it. Yeah. I think also, Sorry, Liz.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, direct continuation probably unlikely because we tend to run those event things as self-contained things so that people can just watch them, enjoy them. Lasers and Feelings in general, I'm sure at some point we'll go back to, but we tend to, there are a heck of a lot of really great RPGs out there. So, we try to cycle through and play a lot of different games. So, but Lasers and Feelings, fantastic game.
Top tier.
And that was a really, really fun game to play as well. I think that might have been one of the first times where I had Wheels as a GM, and I was like, wow, this is great. He's really good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks, John. Alex Meehan.
Hello.
Would you like to read this one from Wei Han, please?
Yes. Wei Han says, "Dear Dicebreaker team, what games have you played and enjoyed that have given you the feeling that there is an objectively optimal move to make, even if it's not obvious? That's how I experienced playing Power Grid. My friends and I often feel like there's a quantitatively best move to be made. Given the way the auction and the board end up, we still enjoy it because the optimization can make playing extremely tense, even if making moves takes a while to result. Good luck at EGX." Thank you. Good luck. Optimal moves. I mean, this is one thing that I'm just not very good at, which is like, looking far ahead into the game and being like, okay, how do I optimize this to the full extent? It's why I'm bad at Scythe, because that's what you do in Scythe. You're like, okay, how can I use absolutely every turn to its maximum potential? I don't think like that. I'm just like, I want to do this. This is going to be fun. But I respect people who can think like that because they usually beat me. Okay. But I guess Scythe. Like sometimes I can do that. I feel like Terraforming Mars is another one where I felt like that sort of, yeah, where I've been like, okay, this is what I've got in my hand. I feel like I can make this optimum decision, and then you feel really smart after it. Doesn't happen often. But yeah, Matthew Jarvis, I can see you waiting.
No. I'm agreeing with you because I also tend to just play from the gut a lot of the time. I don't necessarily play games to. I think when I was younger, I was quite competitive and probably quite a sore loser, but nowadays I'm just playing to have a fun time.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the time, and also it can sometimes just be exhausting for me to try and think multiple turns ahead in a game that I'm not super familiar with, which to be honest tends to be a lot of games because nature of the job is you play a lot of games a little bit and then move on to something else. Definitely Terraforming Mars was one of those games where it's like, I know that I'm not optimizing these turns and I feel bad about it because that feels like the point of this game.
Yeah.
I think there are those kinds of games. Like I know Food Chain Magnate is kind of notorious for this, and that there's no catching up if you start to fall behind. You have to just be the most ruthlessly efficient all the time.
I think Pipeline is similar from what I've heard.
Kind of like pure information games where there's no luck involved. They tend to be a lot. I think I like at least an element of luck. I like that things might change on the roll of a die, but everyone's kind of subject to the same whims.
I like both. Like I feel like there's games that do both of those things really well. Like even though I'm not very good at it, I do really like Terraforming Mars and Scythe. I feel like the key with those games is that you don't necessarily feel like completely left behind if you do like not quite optimize every single turn. Like the fact that I've been able to, play Scythe as often or as much as I have and get kind of through that barrier of feeling like, oh, I don't really optimize my turns enough, shows that like it's not enough to put me off. There's still enough there for me to want to come back. I will say, just as a quick aside, on the stream layout, I love the fact that my screen is the only one where I've got just. Can you see like the tiny little Meehan in the corner? I think that's from Google Meet, but I love that. I just find it. Lolies!
I agree.
You have an answer to this question. You agree?
Yeah, that's just my I'm more of a gut player. There's been games where I think ahead and I'm like, oh, this would be so good. This is the perfect move. Blah 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 blah. But overall, I prefer to just do what I fancy because at the end of the day, it's a game, and if I can't do what I want at any given time in a game, then when am I going to be able to do it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And like I've definitely played with people who will take a very long time to think about their turn, and that's fine if everyone's kind of that knows that that's the score and everyone's playing like very competitively, and you know that it's going to be a long one. But sometimes it's better to just be like, you know what, I'm just going to make this move to keep things flowing and not have people kind of drift off. That's just my personal experience. Like, it depends who you play with and what they're playing for as well. My group tends to just play for the japes.
Yeah, for the laughs.
Japes.
All right, thank you for your questions. If you would like to drop us a question of your own, you can do so at podcast@dicebreaker.com. You can also drop it in the chat if you're watching live. We didn't have time for that many this week, but we appreciate them all, and we do add them all in, and we do try to get to as many as we can. But this week we're whizzing through a little bit quicker than usual because EGX is a coming, and then Essen Spiel is a coming, and then it's the end of the year. That's basically Christmas after that, isn't it? Yeah, then we die. Gosh. Oh, God. Yes, so you can, once again, you can find us. We will have streams all of this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from EGX. If you're at EGX, you can come and actually just say hi in person. That would be really nice.
Wow!
We're over on the EGX live stage. All of the streams / on-stage shenanigans will be from 3 p.m. BST, but they will also be on this here YouTube channel. If you're watching on catch-up, you can also just catch them on catch-up as well. But hey, if you jump in live, that would be real nice. And Essen Spiel, we are planning, it may depend on whether we can pull this off because we're not 100% sure about the tech yet, but we're hoping to do a live podcast next week. We will see how that goes. We don't know the exact state of things yet because it could be a very different Essen to past years. But that's the plan. Hopefully there will be a podcast, but if not, we will be back on another Friday. But of course,
we'll do a live podcast from the cheese pretzel place.
the cheese pretzel
Oh my
place.
god. I don't think
yeah.
we'd be able to. It would be ridiculous to do a podcast because our mouths would just be full of cheesy pretzels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we'll have lots coming out of Essen. So obviously, keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes glued to dicebreaker.com
Yeah.
and youtube.com/dicebreaker, as well as at Join Dicebreaker on Twitter.
Keep your eyes peeled for the butt game, everyone.
Bag of butts.
Bag of butts.
Coming at you. Shield your eyes from the bag of butts. Until then, thank you for being here. Alex Lolies.
Thank you. I'm going to go to bed now.
Oh, whoa.
Thank you for
Okay.
joining us, Alex Meehan.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not going to go to bed.
I've
I'm
been Matt
going to
Jarvis.
coffee.
What an enthusiastic finish to this podcast it's been. Thank you for listening. We'll be back. If not next Friday, we'll be back the Friday afterwards. If you're going to
Tune in for
EGX or
EGX.
Essen, we hope you have a safe and enjoyable time. But until we meet again, thank you for listening and have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.